I never forget the day that Dennis signed. I felt like a child, because the way it worked for me and the way I tried to get into football, to finally end up hearing that Dennis Bergkamp signing made me realise I'm doing something right. Because I knew that when Dennis came, I'm probably going to win something. Why are you laughing at that? I genuinely thought that. The best player I ever shared a pitch with, the Iceman. He was a genius, someone that deserves every honour, every accolade. Dennis Bergkamp changed the DNA of Arsenal. It's like when you see the start of Spider-Man and that DNA thing kicks and then it goes. That's what happened when Dennis signed for Arsenal. I remember the first time I met Dennis, it was really strange because I was coming from Colney and I think Dennis just signed because the rumours were that Dennis was signing. And so I was coming from Colney, Dennis probably coming from Arsenal because he was driving, obviously. And we met at Clackett Lane services on the M25, and it was really strange because I remember this big 7 Series BMW was parked on the wrong side of the pump. And so when I came in, I said, let's park like that. And then Dennis came out the shop and I went, Dennis! And I went, Dennis! Right? And then we kind of like had a little chat. He said he signed. And I remember when I was in the car, I was banging the steering wheel saying, oh my God, it's happening, he's done it. We've signed Dennis Bergkamp. We've signed Dennis Bergkamp. I still think of it now, it's amazing for me. As an ex-player, you often wonder how you'd get on in today's game. And Dennis, for me, is the perfect example of a player that can transcend any generation of football. He can play in any era of football, for me, of what I've seen from Dennis. Please, let me finish. Listen, I can't believe it's 30 years since he came to Arsenal. Mr. Dean must have seen something, because before Dennis, obviously, he was called not just Boring Arsenal, it was Boring Arsenal, right? They'd done it twice. But then once Dennis came, obviously, he had to stop singing that song. They had to stop singing that song because of what he was able to do. What can I say is that his first touch, unbelievable. Could receive the ball from anywhere, any time, any pace, any height, cushion it, control it, turn it into an opportunity to score or assist. I used to ask him, Dennis, where do you want me to be? Where do you want me to go? And he said, you just make your moves and I will find you. You go there and the ball will come. And it did. And I scored a couple of goals. It's not about me. It's not about me. It's not about me. He could turn in the tightest spaces, surrounded by top quality defenders who were trying to kick him. Always trying to kick him. And somehow he'd worked that through, saw everything before it happened, and details as well to Dennis. He would show you how to spin the ball, curve the ball, in different ways. The level of training instantly rose when Dennis came. And I genuinely believe he was the reason why we were so competitive in training, because the standard of training and the competition in training, for me, a lot of that came from the way that Dennis used to prepare and train. Everybody's game had to rise in that moment. For me as well, personally, it was like being a lone striker. I wanted that. The move away from the 4-4-2 was because we had a player like Dennis, and we were able to play football, change the way we played, change the way we created chances. I miss playing with Dennis. I'm not really going to cry. I just tried to do a little bit of a broken voice thing. Okay. Off the pitch, he was one of the most creative, sophisticated people I'd ever met, person I'd ever met. And I remember I had to level up. And the time I remember I had to level up is when we started sharing rooms. And when Dennis came out of the bathroom in full pajamas and slippers, and then I, obviously, sitting there in a 2-day-old vest and underpants, you kind of feel in that moment, and every time I say that, people do laugh and they smile about that, but what I got from that is, not just on the pitch, this man was immaculate in where he was, how he presented himself, how he was, but even going to bed. My man was pristine, so obviously I had to fix up my business. I know I said that Dennis changed the DNA of Arsenal, but honestly, it's no coincidence that everything with Arsenal, for me especially, in '95 changed when Dennis got there. You can ask any of the players, anybody who played with Dennis in the team at that time. Dennis Bergkamp is the best player they've ever played with. I guarantee they'll probably say that. And people always say to me, who's the hardest defenders? Who's the best defenders you've ever played against? And I say, listen, if Dennis Bergkamp is playing behind me, in front of me, at the side of me, I'm not afraid of no defenders, no team, because I've got Dennis. And nothing matters when you've got Dennis. I want you to understand, I'm saying this from my deepest part of my heart, ladies and gents. This is my dear friend. You deserve every award, every tribute you ever get. And anybody in here tonight mentions anything about, did you mean Newcastle? I'm fighting somebody tonight. I've seen this man in training. I know what he's capable of. And Dennis, I just want to say, I'm eternally grateful to be even in and around you here today with your wonderful family. And I'm grateful to have this moment to celebrate you. Congratulations, Dennis.